Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be looking at this old mainline J72 and seeing if I can get it to run once again. So starting straight off, you can see that the condition is quite poor really, it's in fact very poor. But I'm going to be giving this the best go I can and seeing if it will work again. So straight away we can see that all the coupling rods aren't even level. And if I turn it round, you'll see probably why. They're all there, but there is one of the little screws missing in there, but I might be able to replace it. Who knows, but that's what we'll be trying to find out. If I don't have something the right size, I'll order something or anything like that. The body is in fact very loose. I don't even think it's not even secured down at all. Cab roof is missing, but there is a driver in it. I'm just going to be basically seeing if I can get this to run, and if I ever did find a cab roof, I would run it more often, because it's a nice model at the end of the day. It is an old mainline split chassis. Nearly said Bachmann, but Bachmann continued to make the split chassis models for years. It's an old mainline split chassis, so they normally suffer from all the axle problems and stuff like that. But I'm going to just see if it does anything, if it has any life in it, and then I will try and find a screw that could fit in there just temporarily. Right, we now have it down on the track. I am just going to apply some power and see if there's any life in it at all. Don't have much hope for it, but you never know. Did I see the centre axle turn then? Oh, there we go. Yep, there is some life in it. It's struggling because that screw's missing, but it's not completely dead, which is a good start. I'm going to try and find a screw for it and see if it performs any better. I don't expect myself to have a screw that's going to fit, but never know, might have something. I have placed quite a giant screw in, really, it's nothing like that, but it does hold it in. The rod is going to slide up and down the shaft of the screw a little bit, but it is what it is for a minute. At least I can see if it will run. And just looking at it here, you can see that these rods are heavily bent. So I'm going to try and straighten them, just put a light bit of pressure on them so I'm not going to damage anything. And then I will see if it performs any better, and it might actually be able to do a few wheel rotations. So it looks a little bit better on the track now, and I've just realised while I was looking underneath it that it is an old Bachmann J72, so I was almost initially right. It's just one of the, probably from the transition period, and it's almost identical as the mainline one. Just maybe, I don't even know if they slightly improved it. They might have improved the detailing, but I think the chassis is almost identical. But yeah, it is a Bachmann one, not a mainline one. So I'm going to put some power down now, see if it is any different. Did move, and it's doing the same thing once again. Just going to see if I can... Doesn't seem happy at all. Probably because the rods are all out of alignment. I'm going to flip it round so we can see what's going on. What's going on here? There seems to be it seems to have quite a bit of life in it, but not enough. I don't know if I've tightened that screw up too much for the time being. I'm going to slacken that screw off and see if it makes any difference. I've slackened that screw off slightly, and I've also adjusted the front axle a bit because it was quite loose. So I'm just going to see if it performs any better now. Oh, well, it did move forwards. Let's try backwards, probably going to push it here. Yeah, not a fan of reverse. Bring it back in, see if it goes forwards again. No, I've done the same thing again. There's clearly a problem somewhere. So I'm going to have to look into that. I believe it's to do with the front axle, but I'll have a look. I've removed the base keeper plate, and as you can see, the rods are very bent. This whole rear axle is bent, and I do believe it is because these just aren't straight at all. You can see there, heavily bent. That one's bent inwards. That one's not so bad. That one's not too bad either, so it is predominantly this side. So I'm going to have a proper look at it and see how I can straighten these properly and get back to you. I've tried to straighten these as best as possible. As you can see, they're not brilliant by a long way, but they are what they are. I've also tried to tighten these up as tight as possible because they were loose when I tried to take them off. Same with this side. I've also tightened these up. This one droops down a little bit, but that is just some of the play in the axle. It's not too bad. Could be worse. So I'm now going to try it once again and see if it performs any better. It is down on the track and I'm going to put some power on and see if it goes anywhere or does anything. Well, that was a promising start. Let's see if it comes back. Did make its way back and forward once again. This is definitely the best it's ran so far. I'll slow it down a bit. It's a little bit lumpy at the slower speed, but the motor probably needs a service. I've been mainly focusing on just trying to get it to actually work. That doesn't seem too bad. Maybe it was just that the rods were bent. I'm going to put the body on and see if it catches. Shouldn't do because I haven't adjusted anything. Don't know how this body goes on. Don't want to damage anything. That sounded quite good. It's a little bit high on the front, but doesn't matter for a minute. Didn't capture anything that way. Doesn't capture anything going that way. I don't think that's too bad at all. Now, with these axles, the problem is they'll run fine in a straight line, but they might not like a corner. So I am going to take it down to a corner and see if it derails. It's coming up to this corner now, and I'm just going to see how it performs. Slowed, yeah, and it chucked the front axle off there. But it did go round the corner. It probably won't like reverse either. It's not too bad, don't get me wrong, it's a long way from brilliant. But where does it chuck it off? It didn't chuck the axle off that time. Didn't do it then either. Oh, it's cut out now then. Oh, there we go. So, not brilliant, but I think that's just typical mainline, well, mainline Bachmann era stuff. I'm going to try my best to correct this. Not sure how I'm going to, but yeah, you can see now that the middle axle is off the track. I'm going to see if I can sort out the play and, well, just see if that improves its ability to corner. As you can see now, it is running much better around corners. This is quite a sharp corner. It's not too bad, but I'd say it's on the main line, one of the sharper corners. So I think that's running quite well. All I did is took off the base keeper plate again, and the middle axle just wasn't quite straight. And all I've done is I've just slightly tweaked it and then tightened the base keeper plate up because it only had one screw in to begin with, and it's locked it back into a much more secure place. So then while I was in there, I oiled all the gears, all the axles, and the bearings on the motor, and this is how it's running now. Here's another fairly dodgy corner. As you can see, it's taken them rather well. I'm going to continue letting it warm up and just see if performance improves whatsoever. I think I've got it quite well, and considering it still has that screw in where the pin should be, I don't think it's doing too bad. If I could source a cab roof for this, which I haven't looked for yet, but I might think about 3D printing one or something, but it will be a respectable loco. And if it can continue running like this, I could find a pin for it, and it could always go back into full service on the railway. So it's now spent probably about 10 minutes just running, and well, performance has picked up speed quite a bit. So I guess it's just getting used to running again. I don't really know how long it's not run for. Probably not too long, but I reckon it's pushing double digits. So I'm now going to hook it up to some coaches and let it run with a train for the first time in probably quite a while. I've got it hooked up to some mainline coaches and hopefully it will pull them all right. Wasn't too bad of a pull away either. See how it handles corners with them. Seems to be doing alright. Not struggling or anything. But it will be nice if I can get a cab route for it, because that will just really finish the look really, because it does everything else flawlessly. So, as you'd have been able to see from those clips, it is now running really well. I can't really ask any better from it, really. I think that's the best I'm going to be able to get it. And considering I haven't done that much work to it, it's one of the ones I've done more work to. But I have straightened some of the coupling rods all down one side, and I've put a screw in, and that screw is still in situ, but if I do ever find the proper pin for it, that will go in. And the only other thing I would need for it is a cab roof, and it's a respectable engine. I'm thinking of putting like a little sheet over the cab roof for a minute and just having it look, maybe have it on a shed like it's being repaired or something like that, because I do think it deserves to be out, and mechanically it is all there. I also straightened the middle axle because that was slightly bent, and I've given it a basic service really and just oiled everything. And I think that is pretty amazing considering the condition of it before, and when I looked at all the coupling rods on the other side and they're all skew width and whatnot, I can't believe it's running this well. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.